Hey everyone, welcome back. In this video, let's just go ahead and first of all discuss what HTML5 exactly is. So I'm going to go to Playgrounds and open an HTML5 playground right here, which is going to give me access to my own little environment where I can just play around with HTML and CSS for the most part. So let's open the index.html file and you can see we already have some contents from this file. So let's just go ahead and remove this and start from a clean slate. I'm also going to just get rid of this so that we have more space with us for the IDE. All right. So first things first, what is HTML5? Now we have already discussed HTML in depth and all those things like simple tags and all that stuff. But if you think about it, HTML comes with a number in front of it, right? Why that is a number, HTML5, this 5 is the fifth sort of version of HTML specification, right? So what you have to understand is that there are certain people who are responsible for, just sort of designing the spec of HTML, like what exactly HTML should consist of, all these, inbuilt tags, the p tag, the span tag, the div tag, which you see. This has been thought of and created by somebody, right? So these people, this is a community of people. These people sit down and when they think that, there's an update necessary or we should take browsers to the next level or, whatever they think, they have to draft out a new specification. This specification is just a document which browsers like Google Chrome and Firefox and Safari and all other browsers have to follow, right? Now, specification just lays down that, this should be the tag, this should have this behavior, this should be this behavior. But it does not tell them, it does not really contain any code or anything, right? So it's just a specification, right? So if you are cooking a recipe, you just get the recipe. You don't really get the ingredients and all that stuff. You have to do it yourself. Similarly, this community is just responsible for drafting out a specification, and then the browsers have to follow and implement them. So what exactly is HTML5? HTML5 is the revision of HTML 4.1. So the last version of HTML before HTML5 was HTML 4.1, which had certain tags, certain things here and there. There were some changes, but for the most part, it is not really necessary for you on day-to-day basis to know, things and differences between HTML 4.1 and 5. All you have to remember is that in HTML5, you have to start the doc type like this. That's it. HTML 4.1 had a weird doc type HTML, which was huge, and you have to probably copy paste it all the time from your older projects or from other websites. And the next thing you have to sort of remember is that there is a little bit of semantics change in HTML5, right? So by semantics change, what I mean is that there are certain more things you have to be sure of if you want to pass all the accessibility and all the HTML5 validator test. But for the most part, you don't really have to worry a lot about other stuff, right? So in a nutshell, HTML5, first of all, brings a lot of new support to browser in terms of, video tags, embedding videos and audio tags. And we'll also take a look at Canvas later on when we are doing JavaScript things. So these are new tags which have special functionality, right? And these are very limited tags in HTML. Once you realize that most of the HTML tags, like you can see p, span, div, all these tags, you can just manipulate using CSS and they'll just behave like any other tag. So there are not a lot of tags in HTML specification which you would say have very special meaning, except for, just like I said, video or, image, or as a matter of fact, audio or canvas. I can just remember these handful of tags, right, which have a special meaning. Other than that, most tags are just, convertible with the help of CSS. But the actual meaning, the true meaning of HTML is to convey meaning to a particular, let's say a particular software. Just assume a software which cannot really see your web page, but if that software is able to determine that, hey, this is how the web page would probably look like, that means you have written correct HTML. What do I mean by that? let's say you're creating a website where you have a header, a footer, let's say a content area in between. So in HTML 4.1, what you would probably do is just to have div ID header, div ID footer, and maybe like div ID content, right? Although this is fine, but what HTML5 says, the more HTML5y way of doing this is actually using the semantic tags. So HTML5 brings in a header tag, right? HTML5 brings in a footer tag, and HTML5 also brings in, for example, let's say a section, right? So just to define some sections. If you want to have a sidebar, there's also an aside tag. So all these things, these new tags exist in HTML5, but we're not going to go into very depth of these in this because I want to cover other important things. These things probably would be more interesting if we pick up an accessibility course or something like that, but that is something for some other day. So that is what HTML5 essentially is. More semantics, less of doc type HTML thingy, and more or less the same HTML as before. So that's all for this video. I'm going to see you in the next one really soon.